I believe we can start now. So, David Chen, are you here?
Yeah,
Okay,
Sam,
good.
good to see you. Yeah,
Good to see you.
yeah, you can start it now. Start the recording. Yeah,
Okay, good, good. So, thank you, David. Thank you, Yi Yang, to invite me here to have a presentation about home inspection today. And first of all, I will explain something about myself. So, my name is Sen Lin. I have been in the home inspection industry for by now 23 years, starting from 2003. Right now, I have a designation of registered home inspector. I'm also doing some energy audit job. That is for the government home renovation rebate program. I can also apply some rebate for homeowner to do some upgrade, like replacing their window, furnace, insulation, that kind of stuff. But my main job is home inspection. Uh, so I have met so many of excellent agents from your company, and I'm so thankful for your refer, your trust. Today's topic is how to handle home inspection as agent. I have so many experience from your agent complaining about the problem for home inspection for home inspector. So always the home inspection is a challenging, difficult, and uncertain step in real estate transaction. It sometimes become a deal killing step. So that is a challenging for many of your agent. So from the beginning of my business, I keep talking with agents and collect information, thinking from the points of real estate agent, thinking how to handle it, to make things better for you, to make the progress more smoother from your agent points of view. So my presentation today is going to be divided into three main parts. The first part, I'm going to explain some basic knowledge, give you some background about home inspection, like what we are going to inspect, we are not going to inspect. Home inspectors still did our job's limitation, that kind of things. The second spot is going to uh, emphasize how to handle the whole procedure. This part is much more important, and we are going to focus on, like, in detail, like how to prepare inspection clause, uh, how to prepare a house for an inspection. What's your duty as agent, as buyer and seller's agent, your duty, and what to do before inspection, what to prepare a house for inspection, and what to do during the inspection as agent, what to say, what to ask, and what to do after the inspection, like if any problem comes out, how to handle it, that kind of stuff. I uh, have quite much experience would like to share with you. The third part is going to discuss about our industry, uh, the industry current situation. Any license need for inspector. What are those home inspection inspectors organization? Do they need certify? You know, how to choose an inspector? You know, any regulation in our business, that kind of things. So again, our focus is going to be on the second part, how to handle it before, during, and after. So let's move on. So we are sure we can, you can see my share screen, right? David? David?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah,
Okay, so,
should be. Yeah.
so what is a home inspection? That is a visual examination of a common system and component of a house to decide is there any significant deficiency, significant problem would need to be done and how much they will cost. So we have some keyword here, visual, common. Visual means we are not going to do any destructive damage job. We are not going to break wall, ceiling, you know. Even we cannot remove so many storage furniture inside the house. Well, yes, we can remove some if that is they are easier to be removed. And the other keyword is common. That is, those system is commonly installed in most of the house. So that is basic life supporting system component, not everything. No, far from everything. And identify major problem, significant problem. So what is significant deficiency or significant problem? We can classify like some D, like damage, danger, deteriorated, defective, and some E, like inoperative, insufficient, improper, and some U, like unsafe, unhealthy. And then those problems should have some feature like they is causing problem and will cause a problem. So those things should connect it to problem. Then we can call them a deficiency. So one thing is about deficiency problem. The other thing is about the life. We should remind them those, system clearly in our mind. Oh, we find so many problems. So what need to be done? We should have a clear recommendation on those things. Of course, our client need to know how much they cost, and most problem can be fixed, right? So those are keyword I would like to introduce to you guys. What's our duty? Our duty is to warn. We have a duty to own to the client to warn. So there's something having kinds of conflict with, your agents guys. Like some people said, why you so some say keep saying so many bad things. Yes, unfortunately, that is our job. Our job is not only compliment the good things, Major things, major of our duty is to warn, to say something bad. We keep going. So what's the main goal? Main goal. The main goal is to identify the current condition of the property, try to provide the homeowner with valuable information valuable technical information necessary to make a informed purchase decision. So there are some keyword here. Current condition at the time of inspection, not before, not after. And another keyword is information necessary. We are kinds of information service, you know, um, from technical parts uh, of the house and try to provide informed purchases decision, you know, give them a background information. So basically, that is a kind of body checkup, just like when you go to family doctor to request one every year's body checkup. You buy a card and send them to a auto shop to have a technician look at it. We will tell them that good things, bad things, strength, weakness at once, and disadvantage at once. So we want the homeowner get better understand what they are going to buy. We try to bring the client the whole picture of the house, the whole picture. Yes, at the whole procedure, we go through every detailed things, but at the end, we try to go back from the beginning to give them the whole idea. So, uh, in my job, always there will be a summary at the end. So this part of summary is quite important. So, keep try to give the buyer, the client, what's situation. Try to answer them. Can you buy it or not? So different party of real estate transaction have different expectation from our inspection. So the buyer or client may have different opinion, right? So we got many questions at the beginning. Usually at the beginning of the inspection, they asking, can we deduct some price from a problem found? Can we, ask the homeowner to repair something? Can we not buy the house? So they have their own idea. For the agent, I believe why you like to put the inspection clause, it of course absolutely reduce your responsibility in the future. So if there's any problem comes out, you can always, point to us, right? Saying, oh, ask the inspector, you have inspection done, right? So that is quite practical things for you. So for the seller, of course, they are good. Usually, they just want to let the things go smoother, right? Most home seller not having a condition here, as you know. But one advantage is they have a chance to see how the other people look into your property. That is, you will get some feedback from us, right? So let's move on anyway. So what do we inspect? We inspect major things. Actually, most home inspector follow standard. We have an industry standard from our organization. Our organization is called Ontario Associations of Home Inspector. The name is called Standards of Practice. We inspect roof, outside, garage, structure, inside, attic, heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical system, and insulation, ventilation, and the fireplace and other urban applies. I will not go to detail. You can, if you are interested, you can, go to my website or our organization's website, download the standard. You take a look. So main thing, is what we are not going to check. It's something you better to know. So many things we're not going to check. We only focus on those things usually affect purchase decision, not going to those things, small minor things, you know. Um, if if you want to go to, to have everything clarified, so you can spend 1 or 2 days in a house, check everything out. So every house got something like cable, right? High-speed internet. No, we are not going to check the telephone line, security system, intercom. Household appliance, yes. Household appliance like fridge, oven, microwave, dryer, dishwasher, clothes washer, not in our standard, actually. And cosmetic flaw. What's the cosmetic flaw? Really something on the surface, not affecting normal function. Yes, we are going to check inside the house, take a look at ceiling, wall, floor, yes. But there are so many small things, right? We don't even look at it. That is something quite different from many homeowner. Usually, uh, lady is so focused on some detail, heading, oh, saying that there's a scratching here, there's a dent here, the broken tire here is not, acceptable, is a problem. Uh, no, we don't look at them. Uh, we are not inspect. Of course, for the new house, we are going to look at the small things. Those small things like our service, renovation staff should meet new home construction standard, but they are not applied to, use house inspection. No, as long as things, is under functioning condition, we are not comment on that, you know. Of course, we are not going to check air quality, water quality, swimming pool, water well, septic system. Another big thing is actually we cannot check termite. Okay, so termite in Toronto, in GTA, there are some specific termite area. I hope we have the chance in the future to explain to you what's the hot termite area. So you guys have prepare those area. If your uh, your crime interest to buy property in those area, you've got to be prepared. Another bit the area is about the environmental concern like asbestos, UFIT, radon gas, mold. Oh, mold is big topic, and you got a lot of question calling, asking, do you do mold? So technically, we can say it, every house got some mold in some extent. If you have air sample from some dead corner of closet, right? You can find some. No, it's so popular, but no, it's not in our mode, in our standard. So we'll not do it. Uh, why? Because it takes time. Takes time. It's not so commonly concerned. And it's not practical for real estate transaction. Okay. So if we have a chance in the future, we'll discuss them. So we are not going to check is they lead in the water. We are not going to identify, uh, electronic magnetic field. Of course, we are not going to check, the noisy, the tossing, the contamination. Even though we don't check so many things, but we still understand they are important. So actually, our education not only focus on our job part. Our association have a lot of seminar, education session, you know, uh, for us to educate in the area out of our standard. That means we have a lot of education on air quality, water qualities, even swimming pool, water well, septic system, even mold, fungi, those things. Actually, those things are main topic in our annual education conference, in our, national conference. There's something uh, out of your imagination, I believe. So we, as home inspector, has much, much more experience knowledge than average people about those items out of our scope. Those items commonly concerned by the homeowner, like air quality, like mold, like asbestos, those things. Actually, that is quite important part of education and skill training, just let you guys know. So when we run to a situation like a suspicious situation, like any mold problem, any uh, air quality problem, water quality problem, we are much more, allergic and hope being able to provide the homeowner and you guys accurate information and refer to specialist if necessary. So general limitation of job. Usually, our client have a very high expectation on our job, but unfortunately, we only do visual inspection. That means this those items should be observable, accessible, operatable, and we cannot identify or conceal condition and latent defect. Latent defect is something comes out, you know, uh, because non-perceivable current condition. We are not technically exhausted and cannot detect all problem. We always tell the homeowner, yes, we can find some problem, not 100%. If there's a 100 existing problem for a house, like if I come there, I always say, oh, probably we can find 70, 80, but still maybe 20, 30 problem cannot be identified. Okay, that is something quite clear to the homeowner. We are not going to do dismantling job, no unsafe operation, and we only have 2 or 3 hours, right? So we are generalists, just like family doctor, not specialists in all discipline. Um, we are not doing building code or bylaw compliance inspection. So usually we got the question say, oh, this house is, this thing like attic insulation is up to building code. Is it too much or too less? It say building code always apply to build, today, today's condition, not previous house. We're not doing anything about code, about bylaw. We just doing something about deficiency, about problem, which will cause repair, will cause you headache. So no code, no bylaw compliant actually. But again, building code is quite important referral document to us. Our education is focused on building code. We have a lot of experience on building code. And of course, we have a lot of education on bylaw, every city's bylaw, like second during unit bylaw requirement, fire code, requirement, fire requirement for different municipality. So eventually, a home inspection is not guarantee warranty. It's just a peace of mind and cannot eliminate all the problem. While it may reduce your liability as agent, may reduce home buyer future headache, but not 100%. That is something quite clear. So we can do uh, when we need inspection. Okay. So usually inspection is done based on the home inspection clause, but quite many home seller have a pre-listing inspection done and to provide to potential buyer nowadays. So pre-purchase, pre-listing inspection become quite popular now. So I'm not going too much about this. So I would like to stop for a while, try to see any question about this part. So if anyone have any question to discuss, please unmute yourself. We can discuss. Hello. So David, are you still here?
Yes, and I'm on the phone. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to say to have people any question to raise that can discuss now. So our agent can unmute themselves, right? All right. So let's move on then. So we are going to the second part now about how to handle the whole procedure. The first thing is about the home inspection clause. Usually, home inspection is done based on a clause. So any standard clause in a real estate transaction, what clause do you usually use? So how an inspection clause affect the whole procedure? From my experience, that is something you guys don't pay much attention to. So usually I was asked question like, can I not buy the house if we find something wrong? Can I asked to have deduction fee, price deduction from the seller, that kind of things. And we find something, can it become the cost not buying the house? So that is quite common question from our client. So usually when I ask our agent and what's the clause, your inspection clause, some of you don't even know what clause put in there. And some of the buyer agent, don't care about it, what the clause. They say that is a standard clause. Is there anything like a standard clause put in there? So as far as I know, no such a things of standard clause. So actually, the clause is quite important and affecting our procedure. So I believe most clause nowadays you guys use is that saying that uh, the buyer is going to hire someone for a qualified home inspector to conduct it within a period of time, and if the buyer is not satisfied with the report, they have a right to cancel the deal, and with no reason, that kind of things. That is called satisfactory clause. Some clause saying if we find a major problem, we have the buyer have the right to cancel the deal. The deal become not, that kind of things, and even saying any deficiency and should be under the buyer's solo and the absolute discretion, that kind of things. So the clause, most clause is quite leaning to the buyer part. That means protect the buyer. So there are so many questions raised up from the clause. So we will, number one is what's the standard clause? What's the fair clause? The things is if I believe if we say talking about any deficiency, buyer's sole absolute discretion, and I don't believe that is something fair to the seller, you know, um, because the whole procedure of real estate deal negotiation, right, is quite time, energy consumption. Uh, the sellers and sellers agent also put a lot of energy on it. We finally come to a deal, and the buyer can say anything to cancel it. Do you think that it is fair to the seller? So the problem is, from my observation, is uh, not many people care about the clause and argue about the clause, you know, Mm, and the whole industry don't think much about, don't, focus much about on the clause. Actually, it will, affect a lot. I believe the sellers are agents should argue on the clause, right? So if you argue, things will make difference, you know. I find some clause is quite good, and when I talk to some agent, they said, I never accept a setting, agents home inspection clause automatically. I always do some modification and get the agreement back, ask them to sign again. So that is good experience, like some clause saying that major deficiency, what's the major deficiency? Like to specify something like, is it things more than $1,000, $2,000, that kind of thing. Specify something, much more fair to the seller. There's something I would like to say to the seller's agent. And the other thing is about a qualified home inspector. Usually you use in the class. What's qualified? Something not specific. Okay, I would say that you better to narrow the gap. Because in the industry, everyone can call them a qualified home inspector. Okay, but there are some specific designation in the industry which could not be used by someone not entitled, like registered home inspector. That is something, quite specified. If you are not, you cannot call them. So some clause narrowed it to registered home inspector. So let's make, to raise the benchmark of our qualification, who conduct the job, right? The other thing I would like to say here is try to educate your client about the inspection clause that will make things easier, right? So uh, it should be a kind of advance. Tell your buyer what the clause means, Oh, this clause saying we should hire someone like registered home inspector, maybe with even more, like, can be examined how many years experience, and if find what kinds of problem, like water leakage, structural, disability, this stability, that kind of things. Big problem, the problem will cost like $2,000 to fix, then you have chance to, we're thinking the deal and even to cancel the deal, that kind of things. Okay. So also explain to your seller client, right? So they have to prepare the procedure. Not surprising if something raise up. Okay, so that is something I would like to tell you guys. That means we got to discuss it, think about it, and then prepare it. Educate your client about the clause. Not saying just put, the clause from your office, copy it here, copy it there, And also focus and focus on specific, property. Different, even, different house, different property have their own feature, right? So you can specify these things. Even I even saw some clause saying the home seller cannot cancel the deal because of the the problem I have already told them, already disclosed. Some home seller disclosed some deficiencies, some weakness before the agreement and said, "Oh, I already told you this. You should not raise another issue about those problems again." So that is something I believe is good, much more fair. You guys may think about it. So what are major deficiency? So there's no such a things like official legal definition about major deficiency. You have to define in your clause. Okay, is it a structural problem? Is it a mechanical problem? Is it a water leaking problem? So should specify, in your inspection clause. As clear as possible. Okay, do not use some critical word something will subject to argument, right? So, but in our real estate business industry, we have some commonly accepted deficiency problem can cause major problem is commonly accepted by our industry and by accepted by court because there are quite many trial trial history available, and usually if something like structural problem, basement leaking can be accepted by the court for the seller to cancel the deal, and it's widely accepted. But still, I try to let you build a bit minds. Still, quite many things can become a big issue, can become a major deficiency. I would say things like a grow house, like a mold problem, those issues affecting insurance availability and the price usually can be accepted as a major problem. So we will go into it in detail later. Or environmental concern like underground contamination, water contamination, right? Like underground oil tank. Also, some health and safety concern. Okay, so the other things try to build in your mind is some critical things like crack, right? Some clients just don't accept crack on the wall, on the foundation, even something like old windows, old furnace, old roof, you know, can become a critical issue that owner don't want to accept it. So there's something I try to let you know. Uh, you have to build a big picture, an idea in advance. So, okay, home inspection is critical and certain step in a real estate transaction. It's challenging to you, but I believe you can prepare for it, get ready for it, and try to eliminate some unpredictable situation. How to do it? You got to pay attention before the offer, right? A lot of things you can do, dear friend. Um, when you find your client is interested in a house, why not try to spend some more time, right? Uh, to avoid the situation, you reach a deal, and cancel it to avoid it. You can do it. So try to educate your client, try to go closer to look into some detail and try to find the problem yourself first to uh, think about those things I just mentioned at the last picture, like those may cause major problem, those things I just mentioned. So you can even inspect yourself, right? So uh, number one, educate your client. No house is perfect, okay? Some small concerns, small flaw may cause you a tear. You got to be allergic. and find and tell critical problem, okay? You can inspect yourself. So what to inspect? Not difficult. Walk around the house to try to find any crack on the wall, on the foundation. So crack is quite common, but also quite critical, and will scare a lot of your uh, buyer if they have not much experience living in a Canadian house. The other thing is if you run across, an old house, a downtown old house, um, you try to find any leaning wall, leaning floor, right? And a sloping land in a house built in a hill, close to the edge, close to the cliff. You have to take a look. Is the land safe? Right? You can tell by common sense. Any basement leakage, any watermark, rusted nail, and nasty odors in basement, right? So it's how old the furnace, how old the AC, how old the windows, right? So you can tell those things by yourself and tell your client. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the grow house termite. Okay, grow house is quite uh, popular 10 years before, not popular, not big headache nowadays. But still, somehow has been identified, has been caught by court police and have a record, still affect the house value nowadays. So you got to know what's the grow house. There are some, um, document available online. There's some website available online to search, caught grow house, right? You got to, if it's quite suspicious, you got to search, do some search, right? I believe more than 10 years ago, I have a presentation in your company to the agent about grow house. Uh, so we don't go detail. We have no time about how to identify it, what's the problem they cause about grow house. So just I just like you to build a big picture. We have an issue about grow house still affecting today's market. And termite. Termite is something we don't inspect, and there are some hot termite area. So I would like to show you maybe a picture. I don't know that we even know. We don't have time to go to such a detailed things, but I would like to show you a termite area of Toronto. So can you see this screen? Oh,
Oh, we cannot see your map.
oh, okay. So I try to how to do it. Let me see. Share. Oh, I got to disconnect this sharing, I believe. Okay, this one. So can you see it now? A map?
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
Okay.
and
So,
that's the news. Yeah.
so Oh, where to find it? Okay, okay. Okay, this area, like that kinds of map, right? You guys got to, have that kinds of map on hand, got to know the specific area and where is some very hot zone, for termite. So we're not going so go into detail and this one. Oh no, no, no. So we're going back, going back. Okay, so why my screen is so small? Oh, here. Oh, shit.
Your
Oh.
screen is not shared now.
So can you see my screen now?
No?
Sen, you have to share screen, upload it.
Okay, okay. Okay, now,
Sen, you click on share. Yeah.
oh, okay, got it. I can see it right now. No, it's okay now, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So, do you guys have any question by now? Anything to discuss?
Sen, one question.
Yes.
You mentioned about the class. Sometimes the class has no standard class for inspection. Rare class. You have anything in your hand you can share with us later on or not now?
Uh,
Because sometimes we say major defect, sometimes we say absolute satisfaction. So we have to make this something. If you're represented buyer, of course, we have to see what you can protect the buyer, right? And as a secret agent, that's another issue. So
yes, have a chance to look quite many cross. I didn't specific take picture or the web column, no. So I believe office, a company better to prepare some cross to fit into different situation, right? Different situation. But the main point is try to make it much more fair for both part, much more easy to accept by both part, and better not using those kinds of words like any deficiency, like absolute discretion by the seller. My main point is again, you can do it. But I believe in my mind is one clause is quite good. It's quite good. The specific, problem, like for the seller, right? So the seller, you live in the house, there's no basement leakage, structure, no problem, right? So you know it, right? So why you worry about it, right? So little things specific like specific problem like the problem more than $2,000 to fix it, water leaking, structure deficiency, you know, uh, even to fit into some the buyers most buyers concern. There's those, but that's not popular to be found in a house. Those things, and it's much more better.
yeah, I agree with you. But in case if I see something, just share with us later, not now. Okay.
Okay, no, no.
Thank you.
Specify how
Yeah.
many dollars, what's the problem, right? If that means let make you may affect or may not affect the buyer, but at least let's
Yeah.
protection for both part. know.
Yeah, right.
So both
Okay.
parts have, equal right,
Yeah,
at
great.
least
Yeah,
procedure.
thank you.
So, and pay attention to uh, structural modification. That is the big things. You can see it like by what I run across so many situations, and significantly, the house has an addition at the back, and the addition, for the second floor is quite different from the neighborhood, and the buyer don't even know it, right? So why try to avoid that kinds of big surprise by yourself? So addition, they may have building permit, may not have a building permit. They have a significant separate, dwelling unit for rental, right? Does it has a building permit, right? So why it should be told by me, by home inspector, why not told by you? You can tell that if you pay a special attention on those points, I think you can tell by them, right? So structural modification is something big, and insurance issue. Nowadays insurance company, is quite picky, right? So they don't insure this, don't insure that. They worry about this, that. So few more big things like you know, like the 60 amp service. You can tell by the electrical conduit, right? Coming down from the roof, how up the size, how big the size, you can tell them. It's significantly smaller than its system service. And not until why you can tell, house building before 1950 can always have a not until wire, aluminum wire built in 19, I would say 1968 to 1977, possibly a very high possibility, to be aluminum wire. What's the problem? Aluminum wire, what issue is going up later on, you got to know. And galvanized steel, case iron, some insurance company don't accept case iron even more. So lead water supply line, and a Kitek water line, and polybutylene water line, old tank in basement or underground. Of course, it will cost. And the age of the oil tank, of course, is something insurance company pay attention to. Okay. So there's something you got to build in your mind, and the environmental can concern asbestos, and UV. UV is not a big issue now. Some real estate association already cancel the requirement for home seller to disclose it, before selling the house. Not required anymore. Radon gas, mold, fungi, lead, again, electronic, metric field, toxic, contamination. And another big issue is about health and safety. Anything you can see if you pay special attention to, right? So, uh, like 2 weeks ago, I saw inspect a house with a big antenna attaching to the roof, and it's standing so high, maybe, 48, 40, 50 meter away from ground, right? Standing so high, and the lack of maintenance, right? So when I go there, I say, oh, this one, you someday, very high chance to fall down. So the seller is surprised, the buyer is surprised, oh, I don't even realize it. And the buyer agent says, oh, I didn't pay attention to it. Don't even think about it. Don't even look, notice about it. That kind of things, right? Is common sense. You pay attention to when your client is interested, is going to put an offer at it. You got to imagine what is going to to be found by an inspector. You can imagine what if the inspector here, they may focus on something, what they may focus on, what they may found. Okay, why not found by yourself and tell the client now? It's something I would like to tell you. Right. Uh, so if you have some question, if some concern, you better to ask the seller, and the seller will answer, give you some answer. Is the answer is trustful, reliable? You got to think about it. You may call someone, call me, and and important things is you got to tell those things that you concern at the beginning of the whole inspection, right? So let the inspector realize it and then focus on it. All those things are something I think about you guys got to realize.
May I ask a question about the aluminum wire?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the aluminum wire and the before the insurance company not insure them, but later on, and then they accepted this modification with what's called pigtail or
Detail.
something.
Mm.
Yes. So would that be mentioned in your report?
Aluminum, of course, of course. We are going to mention it in the report and tell the client what they may face on in insurance part. So most insurance company require to have a ESA certificate from a qualified electrician. CSA certificate. ESA, Electrical Safety Authority. Some insurance companies still don't insure aluminum house, right? So some insurance companies don't care. They ask, they don't care. You maybe you do nothing is fine. So depends. It really depends. But most insurance company ask for ESA certificate, which means you got to hire an electrician to do a lot of pigtail. Pigtail is the small parts of aluminum wire connecting between electrical outlet, electrical switch, right, and aluminum wire. The connection use special screw, special, you know, special tight to connect in each. So the aluminum wire can be fixed, you know, for a house, to do a thorough pigtails will not cost much, but you can tell. But the thing is, it can be fixed. You got to prepare. If you can tell it your buyer in advance, is it good? But still, some buyer don't accept it. They think they may be told by someone, by his friend, his neighbor, say the whole house should be with wire, right? So this may be they may be miseducated by someone else. Who knows? Anything? Any
I
question?
understand. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
So,
go ahead.
when buyer and seller try to ask for the home inspection, is that the report going to be same or any different?
Sorry?
I mean, for sellers sometimes ask for a home inspection, right, before the sale listing. And most of the cases, buyer gonna ask for the home inspection.
Yes,
The difference in this by the report, are they going to be the same report or not?
at least the standard we follow is the same. So the report should be the same. But I understand the expectation from the buyer and the seller are totally different, totally different, right? So the seller want to find as much, the buyer want much to find as many problem as possible. The seller would say, right? Most of the time is try to, you know, to present their house, right? The better, the less problem, the better, even no problem is perfect, right? Science kinds of different expectation, but from our part, it should be the same, right? So again, when we talk about the sellers report, we have a lot of topic to think about it. Right? So is it a lot of clients say that, oh, we have asked me, we have a seller report here, you know, is it trustworthy? Is it, reliable? One thing what to build in your mind is the inspector only sign the agreement, the inspection agreement with the client. In this situation, the client is the seller, so that means they only responsible, have a reliability with the seller. That means if something is missed in a report, no one other than the client, the seller, has the right to raise any issue to the inspector. That is the key point. Okay, so that means you may think, right? You may think about, is the inspector reliable, reputable? So that's something that we're thinking. So I always say that if you have a chance, if client have a chance to put an offer with the home inspection division, better to hire yourself, your own inspector. Any question? Any more question? Then we move on. We oh, over an hour. So any time limitation here, David?
Yeah, it's up to you. If you
Oh,
can, yeah, that's fine.
oh,
So as long as it
I have a few
yeah,
more page,
yeah,
okay,
okay,
to
sure.
move on. We try to finish it before 12:30. So something you can ask you can make a lot of calling, right? So like you saw the addition, adding permit for this addition, you can call the city. City will answer your question, right? If you identify yourself as agent, you have the right to call. They have the right, they have a duty to disclose any, you know, uh, building permit, any, occupancy permit has been issued to this property, even any, unclosed case, unclosed file, on this issue, they have a duty to disclose. So if you a lot of things you can ask the city, ask some organization like even oil tank. There are some history. The oil tank history should be reported to TSSA. You can ask. Even the police office should answer your question about the property adding, cut grow house history. If you suspect a fire history, Yes, another thing is a fire, right? If the house has been a fire, so even right now it's fine, but still cause a big issue if the home seller don't disclose it, right? Why you buy the house has been to a fire without knowing it. You can get a fire report from fire department as long as he willing to pay the fee. The kind of things. So that's something you got to pay attention to, think about before an offer. If the issue is not, resolved or still, a bit concerned with your client, you better don't go further, right? Why not spend more energy, more time on the deal and reach agreement and then let it go away. So I have experience. I have quite many scenario. Homeowner, home agent not knowing what should be done during the inspection before and after, what they should do. Even some agents saying, "Okay, I have this client, Mr. Lin. You know, uh, can you call him to arrange the inspection? I have a list. This is the house is a selling agent's company number and phone number. Can you arrange an inspection?" That kind of things. I'm quite surprised. They want me to arrange the whole things, to book the booking, book the inspection, to find the key code, that kind of things. So I feel like in the real estate industry, you have quite lack of training and education in our part. Like, what's your duty? What should you do? What you should not do? The kinds of lack of training in our part. So I would say what's your duty as a buyer agent? I would say number one, you got to explain the inspection clause to your client, right? That's quite important part. Let them know first and reduce the problem later. Actually, so I would say the most of our home buyer don't know what's the inspection clause. What does it say? Because nobody told them. The agent say, we have time, we have something, we have a chance to have someone to check it and check it what's land. If something happened, what's land? Don't know. Right? Most of the time, the buyer don't know. So explain the clause and make arrangement. You are the buyer's agent. You are the controller. You control the whole event, under your control, make arrangement what time, right? So you got to make sure, all equipment is already to be turned on. Our room should be accessible, right? So you better to let the seller don't stay in there during the period, right? So it's your duty. And your major duty during the inspection is kind of witness. You should see the whole procedure. You should be there. It's quite surprising. Surprise me. I would say at least 20% or 30% of chance. Let's home sellers say, "Oh, Mr. Lin, I'm quite busy today. Okay, I already make it. Can you just go there? Okay, I'm busy. I have another opening house this time. Can you just go there? And then even they don't inform the buyer saying you just do it, send them a report. My goodness. So No, you should be there. So I would like to make it clear. So, right? So that David, do you always tell your agent should be there during the inspection? Do you?
Of course, it should be there all the time. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But quite surprised me, you know. You are the guy, hold a duty. If something happen, during the inspection, if they, we break something, some item missing, stolen, all your duty. If you're not still, you're not there, right? You control it. You take responsibility for the whole event. The buyer agent, please, you know. And then most important, you got to witness what we found, what we said, what is your crime response, and you got to keep thinking, what's the next step you got to do, right? So and you during the inspection, you buyer's agent always have the right to follow. Okay, I personally always ask the buyer's agent to follow me, and I hate those guys just sitting there, and say, "Mr. Lin, you just go, I'm busy." I take a look at I have a lot of text message to respond. I don't like it because what? During 2 hour, 3 hour time, I say a lot of word, right? I explain a lot of things, and I don't like at the end you say, "Oh, Mr. Lin, what do you say? What's the problem? You say there's a crack there. Where is it? Can you show me again?" Right? So you got to see what I say. What's the client respond, right? And sometimes I may miss something. I may say something wrong. You got to see, right? You got to respond. You got to correct what I say. You got to make you uh, provide further information. You may call the seller to ask question. Oh, Mr. Our inspector find this, uh, there's a repair, basement repair here. Where did you, when did you do it, right? So you can ask a lot of things. You have a lot of things to do, right? So you have duty to be interpreter between the client and me, because why? Because you know your clients better. I just believe met him first time, right? You know their background, you know their technical background. They understand what I say? Maybe you need a further, explanation. So uh, I always welcome, and I believe you have the right to follow, to listen every word the inspector say. You have the right. I have nothing to hide from, buyer's agent, because I treat you as the same as our client, because they trust you. Why not? I trust you. I trust you as a buyer agent. So clear. So at least if you have any business with me, I highly welcome you to follow me to, explain things I cannot explain clear. And even I miss anything, you would like to remind me, I'm welcome you. So has the duty of the seller's agent. Number one, you got to explain to your client the clause, and then get ready to do something compromise, to prepare some repair. You got to tell your client, "Oh, we have got a bad, chance." They put the clause, inspection clause. It means that it is challenging for us, right? So you think your house is good, but from the other past points of view, we always try to pick up some problems. So we have to, prepare something, right? So prepare to repair something, even do some, price deduction. Educate yourself in advance is good to you anyway. So you got to prepare for a house for inspection. You know, do So that is a chance I and the client have such a long time. First time had 2 or 3 hours to be there and could go see such a detail from your house. Before they just got 1 or 2 times to visit the house in the half hour, time, 1 hours, right? Now this time they may have their friends, their family members, so many people to comment on this house, right? So that is a bit challenging to you. Why not prepare your house? Do some, do some decoration, something like make it beauty at least, right? Make it very clean, right? Your furniture, your picture, your everywhere. They are going to even your closet. They have a chance to take a look, right? So you you would like to have a good impression to your potential buyer, right? So got to clean your house, make it neat, make try to have you know us to have a comment that oh this house is this homeowner is very nice homeowner, right? They care about house. They are very maybe very neat. That kind of good comment is good for you. So,
So I can add
yes,
something.
yes,
Yeah, but as if you are the buyer agent, please, I have to make clear to everyone here. If
yes,
you are the buyer agent, you have to be at present in the home inspection
yes, but
because the entry to the property has to be accompanied by the licensed agent. So the home inspector representing only the buyer, but the agent had to be licensed to be entered the property. Otherwise, you will be penalized by RICO. Okay, make sure
yes,
every buyer agent should be there. Okay, no matter
yes,
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you have to be there. Okay, thank you.
yes, yes. I've never entered a property without a company of the license agent. No, I don't do it, never.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
it's a
right. You
big risk to me, a big risk to me. Okay, so so has the seller's agent, should you stay, should you be there? I will say that usually not. One
no this
agent be
no
late,
this agent does
one,
not need to be there. So
yeah,
buyer agent
no,
has to be. Yes.
yes. The seller agent don't have to be there, but
No.
you get got to prepare yourself. You better to have a homeowner to inspect yourself, your house first, And key point is good tips. We find so many insurance like there's a leaking faucet, leaking sink, right? So why not ask your client to open the space below the sink, right, and run the shower, run the toilet. It maybe some washroom you never use it. Why not just run it now, right? To see to play, you know, uh, to fix some things easy to find, right? So that's key point. Try to make house beauty to eliminate some, quite common feature, plumbing feature problem. You can tell, right? And then you make outside, you may extend some downspout that may, you know, improve some house grading, right? It's quite easy. You just why you want to have bad comment from other people. You can fill some with some dirt, right? To raise the improve grading to raise some you know, uh, ground level, easier job, right? To have other people good comment on you, right? So there's something I would say you can expect easily, practically, not too complicated. Okay. Another thing is good tip is you better to have an easy asset provide to the inspector, like clear the space furnace, but we are going to furnace, right? Room, right? There are so many storage. Why not ask your client to remove those storage? I will go there. And electrical panel, so many things block it. Do you imagine what's my attitude when I facing, so many storage there? I have to remove it. Do you believe I'm happy? No. If I see someone, especially for the attic opening, attic, a hatch, we call it attic hatch, usually inside a closet, right? It's so many personal stuff, that go in there, it's got to remove them, maybe, There's a big screw there, a big shell inside. So how do I do? I got to remove so many things, right? So unscrew it. So I have to see it. Why not you have your seller to remove those stuff, all personal stuff for us? So every time when I see the space below active opening has been clear, I will be very, very gratitude to you. I would say, oh, this selling agent is very professional, very good. Oh, I'm very thankful to you. Please, we move those space. I have to go. Don't block me so much, right? So, do you think it's not good thing? Do you think what do you think I will say? I will think, right? You give me so good impression, and I play so important role here. Is it good to you? Do you think? So provide access, provide convenient to us. You got to imagine what I am going to go there, right? Understand? Oh, so on-site cooperation with inspector. So on-site, I got to tell you why we always studying the problem, the big things. The things is we are going to facing so many complaints after war. What we are thinking, I'm thinking complaint. We are try to eliminate as much complaint as possible in the future. So you got to know our point. Complaint, home inspection, is the highest professional, highest, risked profession in the world, I believe. Very, very few inspector, you know, uh, have no complaint, no claim after like 10 years, 20 years in the business. You can imagine how high the risk that is. So different buyer have different, background, have different expectations on us. They may raise anything to us, saying, "Oh, you don't find this. Why you don't find it? Why it's not in the report later on?" They call us. So there's something you got to know. And what do we expect from you? Information. I will have a good impression on agent who tell me, oh, Mr. Lin, this house has been, recent, what's the, transaction history. It has been, there's an offer put it, has been canceled, and, and it has been put in the market for so long time, and nobody put the offer, and why is the problem? Tell me the transaction history is good to me, and tell me about the client. We don't know him, right? So, oh, the client is newcomer. The client has been, in Canada for 30 years, have owned so many business. The client, is professional engineer in, in construction business, right? That kind of things is good to me, right? So, about the client, about your concern, about transaction history, about the information provided by the seller. Okay, so you can help a lot really, because you know a lot better than me about the house or the client. Even you already, know about the seller. Oh, this seller is what kinds of people, right? Is it's a daughter, right? That is a builder. That may different to me. Really, let me different. If I know this builder is a builder of this house, then I will have different expectation, different view for the condition of this, right? Understand? So we need information from you. Really appreciate it. And what can you do? Yes, you can explain, ask, and request. I say during the whole procedure, you are the representative of your client. We treat you as the same. Okay, you can explain what I say, and you can ask question on behalf of your client, right? So they have a special concern. they told you before, but they forgot to ask me now. You can ask question. You can request me to do something, right? Oh, Mr. Lin, this one, we can you do this? Right? So, can you provide more information about this? You can ask me to do something, So, so the whole procedure always try to avoid a, a bad argument. I would say the kinds would say that is attacking argument. That's really something very, very bad during the procedure. So, different inspector has different personality attitude. I personally don't care about, what you said. You have different, opinion. But I also, heard quite a lot of, things from your agent saying, oh, this inspector is say something very bad, and I disagree. I even argue on site with him. So, this is something we got to try to avoid. So, you got to understand at this time we are the person pay the responsibility. We has a responsibility to point out the problem. So I personally understand, you know, some of our agent very nervous on everything I said, right? Inspector say, you better, some agent, even argue on everything we say, maybe disagree, you know. So you can disagree, but you got to think who the client is going to trust, right? So I would say that most of the time, leave the technical comment with the inspector. If you don't know him well, right? They may respond to you differently. I personally, I don't care your comment. I always treat it this way. At least you got to treat it this way. You can have your comment on this correct. Like I have a comment, you have a comment. You don't try to attacking the other inspector, saying, "Oh, you are like this the basic knowledge, you are not experienced, don't even know these small things, that kind of thing common. It's not, you know, courteous, not respectful, right? So try to avoid it. You can say, oh, this one I believe is quite common. I saw another house with this crack, the same thing, no problem, You can have a different comment. You better not try to attacking, the inspector's reputation, their experience, right? Their education, that kind of things. Should not try to comment that. Okay. And if those things happen, they will not make any good to you. So if you find us, miss something or provide incorrect information, so you got to handle it very smartly, whether or not to comment right away or later on, you got to think about it to tell the home inspector later on or what. Is it this my opinion on this problem? Is it important? Is it make a serious problem to your deal? You got to think about it. If not a serious problem, right? Just let it go ahead. Maybe that you found a significant with bad response from your client, then you can treat it serious and raise the issue to us, right? Discuss. Oh, Mr. Lin, oh, this one is really a big problem. Is it true? We think about your idea. So everything may happen. You got to handle it, with with kinds of experience with kinds of good attitude, right? You are trained professional. And okay, so we don't have much time to go through it. So and another thing is we don't want the seller to participate if the sellers follow us. That's a very bad is bad things. You got to try to stop them because every information I provide may be used by the seller. So the seller and the buyer, is kinds of conflict of interest. They treat the same thing different way, right? So this will not do any good if the seller to be there to hear everything I said. So you better to try to stop it. I most of the time, if I found that is those experienced agent have a lot of inspection with me, they know I don't want the seller to be. So if I find a new agent looks like a new agent calling me, I'll always ask them, to ask the seller not being there, not stay there during the inspection. Give us, a free 2 or 3 hours time. That will not do any good for our part. And if they follow, you try to stop them in a smart way to stop them. Okay. So I try to finish this part, this one. Okay. So too long, right? So so after inspection, so they will be also a challenge to you because as I say, no perfect house, big or small, we will find something, right? So the same small things, will cause different problem to different buyers, right? So the really important part is the summary. I try at the end of house, at least at the end of inspection, I try to comment on, the major things of the whole house, give them a big idea and try to solve the problem raised from our client, whether or not to buy. Is it worth it to buy it? Okay. Oh, we never answer those questions, directly, like whether or not to buy it, right? But we have very good, working experience, like how to, direct the client, to direct the client, the kind of things. So, you got to pay attention to your clients' respond to what we say, and even though before leaving the house they are certified, and after we send in the house, they read the report, they may have a different expression, different things may come out. The husband being there, he is happy after going home, right? The father-in-law, hear about something, they have different opinion. After reading my report, the same thing, they say a big problem. They call it, friend, the relative, the same, like a small leak in the basement, a small mold spot there. They may say it's a problem. It's challenging to you, Not everything can be resolved during the periods of time. You got to alert, right? And alert, try to answer the client, especially like to handle their request. Okay? Their request. So the most common things is the deficiency, some deficiency they may require the homeowner to fix it, to deduct some money, as that is quite common. And how to handle it, what kinds of deficiency should be repaired by the seller. Normally, I never comment on it, but you as a buyer agent got to accumulate that kinds of experience. From my experience, those problems under normal care, normal sense, common sense should be fixed. And you have the right to raise the seller, and the seller have the duty to fix it. This keyword is common sense, normal problem, normal sense, like what? Like water leaking, right? You see a running faucet, of course, got to fix it. You see the leaking the leaking shower, of course, better to fix it, right? You saw a loose toilet, even a loose toilet, right? It not leaking today, it may leak tomorrow. The closing day is maybe half years later. It may leak, before the closing days, right? So those things, I believe, about water leaking, water pumping system problem, usually got to be fixed right away. And those problems affecting normal function, a major function of the system, like the inoperate furnace, right? Not running at all, not working. Of course, got to fix it, right? Doesn't matter what the inspection clause say major problem. Do you think not working furnace is it a major? Why you have a headache on that? Just ask the seller to fix it. Because why? It's common sense, right? So I would say emergency things. Even though the things is very small, you still, that is emergency safety issue, you got to inform the seller, right? If you find that, exposed wire just beside the cell, beside the stair, any kids may touch it, right? So you smell the leaking gas line, right? That kind of things. Emergency, you got to ask the seller to fix it. Doesn't matter what the clause say. And in case your client don't want to buy, you better let them go. Okay? And you try your best to provide more information and try your best to fix those problems can be fixed, by the seller. And in case, you know, uh, a question you cannot answer, you always refer the client to ask the inspector, to ask them. I know how to answer. If that is my case, right? My inspection, I always encourage you, the seller's agent, a client, ask me, call me later on. I know how to answer them. And we have so many experience, right? To answer that question, you not try if you are not, you know, uh, experienced, you not try to answer those, technical things. So the other things is we eventually you come to, you know, oh, I would say to the seller's agent, anything can be fixed in this deal, you try to settle a deal. So that means you try to persuade your client to fix the raise up, right? Make the things easier. Okay, they will always be worth it to handle the deal now, to have a minimum sign now, better than we have another setting, another procedure, right? So you better to persuade your seller. So that's why I said before the inspection, you got to give them, heads up, give them, the warning education, in ahead is bad, is good things. Okay. So how to prepare amendment? So the common concern from the buyer is, oh, they agreed repair. How can I verify it has been repaired? Mr. Lin, can you come up? You say the washroom leak. I don't know they repair or not, right? So can you come back? Come back? I usually don't come back, right? To verify the repair. How can we verify a repair job? So you can put across, right, in amendment, like to provide a receipt, to provide a warranty, like 10 years, the 10 months, 6 months warranty for repair of, basement hidden leakage, right? And take some picture during repair, even have a buyer to come to see it, witness this repair done, So provide receipt, provide warranty guarantee on the repair job, right? Let the time to tell if it has been done correctly. So in very few chance, the seller don't accept inspection report, don't accept our opinion on those problems, those deficiency. They may argue. The most common argue is, oh, this inspector already searched. It's not it's not the qualified inspector as you said. Okay, so number one, they is going to question our qualification. Okay, they may want to go to another specialist to do another thing, evaluation on the things, right? So they said, okay, so no problem with this one. Okay, you say that it's a bit problem for this electrical wire. Another thing is I have electrician coming in say it's common, right? It's common, acceptable. So you have argument. So I always say you don't try to go to the kinds of this situation, It's no use. Eventually, the procedure is to protect the seller, Different people have different idea. You raise another idea, can you persuade the other part? So you better don't go to that, okay? So if the seller try to walk away, just let them go, I believe. Okay, so if the argument cannot be settled, eventually you will have to go to the cause, right? So, cause most of our case, that will not be good for the seller because eventually, as I say, the procedure is to protect the buyer. So, so the last thing I would like to talk about is if the things goes wrong, like 1 year, 10 years later, so they say, oh, I found leaking in my basement, right? I found bad smelling in my basement. I find mold here. I found water leaking from roof, that kind of things. Call you, complain you, they are calling you angry, want you to go there right away, right? So how to handle it? How to handle it, right? So, oh, now this time you have chance, you say, oh, we have already put the inspection clause, so you call the inspector, nothing to do with me. Now you have execution. Yes, we got quite a lot of experience on that, right? Usually the buyer is anxious. So for my number one, you got to think about it. House situation, most of the time, those situation, uh, emergency situation can be noticeable, most of the time noticeable right away. Those times like it's not actually not nothing, most of the time nothing urgent. Okay, those things from after they moving in quite a long time, right? Most of the time, like water leaking. What's the emergency on that, right? A washing leak. Do you think that's emergency? They are angry, of course, right? So most of the time, they agree. Most of the time, they will say, "Oh, you, you, that's all your problem. You didn't reinforce your duty. You got to come to fix it. They're angry on you, but you got to know that the real situation. I means let them calm down for a while. Don't handle it. Do you think is it handle it right away? So I, uh, my experience is they always call me, in an urgent, in an angry situation, but when, you hardly difficult to talk to them, in a good communication way. So if you call them the next day ask them to, to take some picture, to modify a period of time, there will be totally different things, different, attitude there. It's something I try to tell you. Okay, so is it a home inspector's, responsibility? Ask them to read the report, clause, inspection clause, that will make them, go into the reality again. So, yes, sometimes we got to revisit the size, but most of the time we don't need it. If we can go through a professional way, in a calm way, to discuss with the buyer about the problem come later on. Most of the time, we can settle it by a phone call. Okay, so if they really cannot, is not satisfied with the, what we conduct, eventually we got to go into a court, to a court, right? So the cost, if we have to go through this way, the the most important things is about our inspection clause, inspection agreement, contract signed between us, the buyer and the inspector. So most of the time we don't need to go so far. Most of the time we can settle the argument, settle complaint by a phone call. Most of the time the buyer just need our professional opinion, recommendation, and education kinds of technical education. Okay, so I won't go further anymore because it's almost 2 hours today. So if we have a chance later on, we may go try to finish this presentation later on another day. So I have more presentation about technical parts of the house, like different deficiency picture on different system, like roof, like heating system, cooling system, plumbing, that kind of thing. A lot of deficiency picture, in some other presentation. If we have chance, David can try to make arrangement later on. So anyone to want to discuss anything? I won't go. I won't try to finish the presentation, this presentation, because there's some more page. So anyone like to discuss anything now? So I just try to say thank you. So thank you everyone to coming in. Thank you, David and Yi Yan.
Yeah, Sam, it's
So
okay.
we can if anyone would like to stay for a couple minutes to discuss, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, Sam, thank you for the time today. You have providing a lot of information, so we need time to digest. So anyway, everyone has your contact information here. So in case they need it, they will come back to you, ask for help. Of course, you can arrange another section if we need it for some other you can complete section anyway. So thank you again, Stan, for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, have a good day. Bye.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes.
I put it in the comments. If there's cracks on the garage floor, which is concrete, is that a big deal or is it normal?
Most of the time normal, because most of the time there's no basement below garage, right?
Yes.
So even the floors second down, they will not cause anything.
Okay.
But the very few chance you have a garage, you have something, a basement below it, below a garage. Oh, they will cause something.
Yes, so if there's no basement below the garage, then the cracks in the foundation on the garage floor are okay?
Because floor support nothing,
Yes.
right? Mm.
Okay, thank you.